Hello, welcome to A Better Life Australia. My name is Renee. In my fish room, I usually feed live food to my fry, to my adults, everything in between. I have a huge collection of live foods that I culture, take care of. I enjoy doing this. It's kind of like having, I guess, an additional pet on top of your fish that you already take care of. However, not everybody does, especially in my household. And this is where a problem kind of arises and why I'm making this video today. So if you're curious as to why I'm saying you can't rely on just live food alone, and you would like to know more, stay tuned and I will tell you why. So, as the intro mentioned, I rely heavily on my live foods. I feed them to my fry, I feed them to my adults. I've got grindleworm, banana worm, microworm, blackworm, flightless fruit flies, brine shrimp. I feed all of it. However, there's a couple of reasons why you have to have backups. In my house, my main reason is my husband does not deal with my live cultures. He loves live cultures, he believes very heavily in it. He loves that I feed it to his fish as well. However, I think he watches the amount of time and energy that I put into my live cultures. I think he's probably just does not want to touch them because he doesn't want to destroy anything that I've worked so hard on. So there are times in my busy life, and I'm sure everyone else's busy life, I have to ask my husband to feed my fish. So that's reason number one. I have to have a backup. Always have to have a backup. Reason number two, live cultures crash. It happens. We don't know why. We don't know what happens. Is it something we do? Is it something in the culture? They crash. You've got to have backup for your fry, especially, and for your adults. A third reason why I today wanted to mention that you cannot always rely on your live cultures is if you are like me, are breeding fish and you are selling those fish, there's a very good chance that the person who buys them is not going to be feeding them live cultures. So they have to be willing to eat more than just live cultures. So today I am going to be trialing the AquaMunch AquaGel Bloodworm Banquet. So this is a gel food that you mix up and then set, and then you can feed to your fish. So yeah, let's take a look, and I'll put up some screenshots on the screen so you can sort of read around the packaging instead of me sitting here just kind of reading it to you, so that you can have a little bit of a read at what's in it, what are the directions, etc. But we'll also take a quick walkthrough on how to make it. And yeah, so join me while we make and feed AquaMunch Bloodworm Banquet. So here we are, we have everything we need. We have 125 mils of boiling water. Now this is tank water. We use tank water for all of our tanks, and also when I'm making my foods. So I've just put it in this glass jug, boiled it in the microwave. I did put this one on for 2 minutes and then removed a little bit of extra water that I had in there to make it down to the 125 mils. So we want 125 mils of water to 3 to 4 scoops of gel. So, excuse my inside dog in the background there. I'm sorry, I actually had to stop and go and stop her from barking. She got herself so worked up. Okay, so we've got our boiling water, and we've got our AquaMunch and so we need 3 to 4 scoops into our boiling water. We've also got a silicone mold. You don't have to have a silicone mold. You can just use a Tupperware container and cut it down if you like. However, we make a lot of our own foods in our fish rooms, so we do have silicone molds. We have different styles. I use sort of holiday themed ones for my Snello, things like that, and of course a spoon to mix. So we're just going to take I'm going to go with 4 scoops. I like a really firm gel food, so I'm going to go with 4. I'm going to add it in and mix it, and then I'll come back in and show you what it looks like once I've done that. It's just because I sadly have not yet replaced my tripod, and so the struggle of trying to one-handedly does not go well. So I'm going to measure out 4 scoops into my boiling water, and then we'll come back and see what it looks like. So it is quite a nice firmish pouring mixture before going in with the 4 spoons. I should have mentioned before also that this spoon states, it's not going to focus for me, but it does state on it that it's a 15 ml scoop. If you wanted to kind of work out what you would get out of a container. And then I'm going to, because I'm not sure how much mixture is going to actually spread into here, I'll start sort of in one area and then I'll spread sort of that way and see how we go. So I will start spooning in, and then I'll come back. Once again, I won't film during this just simply because I'm one-handed, but we'll be back soon. So I've spooned in just a bit over half of the mixture. I've spooned it in, I give it a little tap just to get rid of air bubbles, to get it down in there, and then we'll start spreading across. There we have it. So I've given the jug a good scrape out. I've banged my molds to get the air out. Bang, tap. We should say tap, otherwise people will be making a huge mess. I've gently tapped my molds to get the air out. As you can see, it's kind of done maybe half a size of my mold. Now I do leave this thin layer on the top. Other people may scrape it like with a back of a knife and get them all kind of flat. I, however, find it easier to get out of my mold if I leave this very thin layer on top. And then I kind of snap it like a dairy milk chocolate bar into little pieces. That's just personal preference. I mean, if you can find an easy way to get these small cubes out without doing that, go right ahead. However, I just find it a bit easier to do it this way. Now, it does say on the jar to refrigerate. However, I place mine in the freezer for about an hour to get it nice and set so I can do that snapping. Trying to toss up, should we do the refrigeration, because it says refrigeration and I should really be following the guidelines. Look, let's refrigerate for half an hour to an hour. We'll refrigerate, we'll see how it sets, we'll see if I can get it out without doing the freezer, and we'll give it a test, and that'll give it a good judge, I guess. So we'll now pop it in the fridge, and then I'll come back in about 30 minutes and we'll see how it goes. Here is our 30-minute check-in. So it's still very loose. Very loose. Let's go another half an hour. If that doesn't work, we'll check in half an hour. And then if that doesn't work, I'm going to go to my freezer method. All right, let's pop it back in the fridge and see how we go. 1 hour check-in of the AquaMunch, and it's still not as firm as I'd like it. So in the freezer it goes. I will pop it in the freezer for, oh dear, what time are we? I've got half an hour until I have to go to work. So let's pop it in for half an hour and then we'll see how it goes. Otherwise, it'll be a check-in after I get back from work. So pop it in the freezer for half an hour. It's been about 18 hours now in the freezer. I had to go to work, and by the time I got back from work it was a bit late to check it out. So we've now got it. It's very firm now from being in the freezer. So we will break it up and then let's feed some fish. So it came out mostly clean out of there. We'll give that a wash up. Here are our blocks. Most of them are in little separate cubes. Those that aren't, we'll just break up into little separate cubes. And let's go and see how the fish like them. Alright, let's just start off here with one of my male tanks. Pop it in, we'll see how he goes. See if he's interested. Okay. Not so far. Although he is one that doesn't often go for the gel or cubed foods. He's very much a fancier of the live foods, so that's not really a telling tale. Alright, let's move on to Midas. Now Midas is a bit of a mixture. Sometimes he enjoys the gel food, sometimes he prefers his lives. He's definitely going down to it. Currently, oops, heading into his bridge. Currently chasing the little bits that have come off in the water. I'm not too sure. Having a think. No, he's not too sure. Alright, let's move on to Metatron. Let's see how Metatron goes with it. See if Metatron's interested. Oh, no, Metatron's eating duckweed instead. You wanna go down, buddy? No? Not too sure. Alright, we're going to move into now one of my wild, my alien tank. And we'll see how we go. Pop it down in there. Okay, well he's eating some of the debris. Having a bit of a look around. Trying to see where that came from. Doesn't seem too sure. That's okay. Let's move up to this slightly older fry tank. Now these guys do usually go for the cubed gel food. So let's have a look if they head on down. Okay, so it does come apart a little bit as you drop it in the water. Some people mightn't mind that. I'm not always a huge fan. That's why I do usually stick to my live foods, because they are a lot less messy. But the fry do seem quite interested in it. So that's a good sign for the fry at least. Now we'll just move down to my sorority tank. And now I will pop 2 in my sorority tank, which is what we do with our gel, with my gel foods. I usually pop 2 in. I pop 1 on one side and 1 on the other. Now they are looking quite interested, checking it out. Try and move my reflection out of the way so you can actually see. Okay, they are having a bit of a look, but they're certainly not diving on it. But they have had a little bit of a look. That's okay. Let's have a look what else we can get. Okay, now to one of our son's tanks. Please excuse the glass. It is definitely cleaning day here, but I thought I would do the cleaning of these tanks down this end of the house after I've tried this little experiment. So we're just going to pop it in. Sonic's usually pretty good with his feeds, aren't you, buddy? Okay, he's having a look. Checking out the debris. I am surprised at the amount of debris actually that comes off as it falls in. As you can see, it is breaking apart quite quickly. Again, some people wouldn't mind that. Some people prefer it to stay kind of together and keep the tank clean. I guess it all depends too on how quickly the fish eat it as to whether it's a problem or not. I think Sonic's more just trying to show off for the camera more than anything. You gonna eat it, buddy? Hey? Alright. Not sure, he's just having a look around. We'll move on to the next one. Okay, he is having a bit of a go of it actually. I've just popped the video back on. So he is having a bit of a peck at it, having a taste. Fanning it around with his fins. Alright, we're going to leave it there. We'll go to the next one and see how we go, and we'll come back to him soon. I've just got to my middle son's tank, and then I was just doing a little bit of a tidy up on the tank. And I was getting ready to feed, and it's only been not even 10 minutes out of the freezer. And you can see it is already, just from being out of the freezer, really quite defrosted and soft. So it's really not holding its shape. Due to the substrate in this tank where I'm at the moment, I'm not going to pop that in, but I will move down to our big community tank and we will give the dish a bit of a swoosh in there and see how the guys in there like it. So unfortunately, no gel food for this sweet girl right now. But once her tank settles down from me giving it a bit of a clean, she's a bit cranky at me at the moment for messing her tank up. So once everything settles down in her tank, we will, I'll pop down and give her some live food to make up for messing up her tank on her. But yeah, we'll take the gel food down to the community tank and see how that goes. I've just headed straight down to our community tank. I'm not even going to attempt to use the tongs on that. As you can see, it's really quite soft. So I'm going to pop the tongs down and we will just take this and I will just swirl it in the top of the water and see if I can get it to come out of my container and drop down. Gentle swirl, and these guys have pretty much annihilated it in seconds. It's just a couple of chomps and they have just spread it. It may have gone down a little bit. No, I think they just spread it. So I mean, going on these fish, they definitely went for it. They were excited by it. It didn't hold up its form like I feel a gel cube should, but the smell definitely attracted the fish. They're still going around eating some of the debris. So yeah, let's duck around our other tanks that we've already given cubes to and have a little update on that. So the cubes have only been in there no more than 30 minutes, about 20 minutes. We'll go and check what the integrity of those cubes are like. This is a sorority tank. The girls are having a bit of a peck on that one and a little bit of a peck over here as well. My brand new alien female is having a look. That's why she's not coloured up. She's just a newbie. She's quite happy in there still, hanging out with all her friends. I don't want to hear that sororities don't work and they're not for newbies and etc, etc. I completely agree, they're not for newbies. I'm not a newbie. I spend a lot of time in my room. I watch my girls like a hawk. I take out any aggression. I am onto it, so I don't want to hear everyone coming at me in the comments about how it's a bad idea. This is how I keep my girls. My girls are happy, my girls are well fed, my girls are taken care of. And this video is not about my girls, this video is about this food. So, they have had a good go at it. It has dissipated, but they have had a good go, and the same there. It has dissipated, but they've had a good go. We'll come over to my male alien. Yeah, no, he has not moved down there at all. Has not come to it, but once again, he loves his live foods. He is very much a live food boy. Yeah, he doesn't seem too interested in that block at all. We'll now move over to Metatron. Now Metatron again is not showing much interest. He is just dancing for me. No, Metatron, I don't have more. That is your food. No, you're gonna eat that. So yeah, again, the cube has not stayed in a cube. It is emulsifying down quite rapidly. Heading to Midas's tank. Now, it seems Aristotle is heading over to that food square, that food cube. Maybe, possibly. She's thinking about it. And Midas is not showing very much interest, sadly. And then to, oops, sorry, this is Metatron, sorry, I'm sorry, this is actually Derpy. My bad, sorry Derpy. Yeah, so Derpy has not shown much interest at all. I'm sorry Derpy, I called you Metatron. I'm sorry. Look out, I might have to start labeling my tanks. I must be getting too many. Metatron, oh gosh, has a very dirty glass. Please don't look at that. Metatron has not seemed to show any interest at all. So yeah, going by that, Metatron's more interested in my finger. Look, if I was to go by that, I would probably personally only feed this food to my community tank. For me, it's not showing that my male bedders especially are not showing any real interest. So yeah, unfortunately, I think that would be a food that I would only feed to my community fish. Because I left it on the bench while making these videos, my cubes are definitely no longer cubes. Sadly, so let's pop it in the tank before it goes all over my floor. There we go. Give it a bit of a swirl off, and let's just have a look what they do.